Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we are building some rock sliders. We're building them a 2-inch pipe, which it's pretty cheap. We paid about $44, and I'm building them for a buddy's Dodge Ram. But I'm using the same process, the same tools that I used to build the ones for the Jeep. So I mean, this is gonna be like under $100, and we're gonna have some badass rock sliders. First, let me show you what we're gonna be using. So this is I already started the bends. This is the pipe we're using. That's how it's gonna look bent. Let me show you. Guys, these are all the tools. We are using the Harbor Freight pipe bender. I'll show you guys a trick to use that one so you don't kink it. And of course our chop saw. And let me show you the last one. And our tube notcher. For our tube notcher, we're using this little Harbor Freight tube notcher with our trusty Milwaukee drill. And I'll show you guys how to notch tube with this. When I did it with the Jeep, it was a pain in the ass. But now I figured it out how to use it, and I'll notch one for you guys, that way you'll see it. It's cake with this thing. But first, how I bent the pipe and how you're going to be bending it for it not to kink. See how that's how it's going to look. That's how I have it. I haven't welded it. It's still in the mock-up. Right now I'm going to tack it. That one's done. I just got to finish the other one. These are our tube notches. See? They look pretty sick. And in order, the trick to using this one and not kink your pipe, you see how this pipe, it looks good. You do see a little, like I guess a little hump right there. You do see that. Very little, very slight, you could tell. But see, the trick to do it with this one is this, guys. Watch. So when you bend your pipe with this one, you want to do it in increments. You don't want to just hit it with this one on one, like right where you're gonna bend it. Reason is because if you do, what's gonna happen, it's gonna kink. This is not a hydraulic one. This is not one of those cool ones. So it's all manual. So what I do, I mark it in increments of 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. And usually this is what I do. On the first bend, I'll go about, once it's nice and tight, I'll do 6 pumps. Second bend, I'll do 10 pumps, about 14 pumps, 16, and 20 and 20. The last two, that's where you really get that final angle. These right here, I have them angled at about 53-degree angle. That's the angle I'm using, and this is how I do it. Check it out. So I put the pipe in, and of course I have it marked, so I have it depending on the pipe size, but right now I'm using the 1.5 setting. And what you do also want to make sure you don't do, you want to make sure you use the correct one. See, this one seems like it'll fit, but it's too loose. If you do this, it's gonna kink. So you gotta make sure you use the proper one. Let me take it out so I can show you guys which one I'm using. This one. See, it fits snug on there, like snug tight. See, let me show you guys. It fits snug, but that's what you want in order for it not to kink. So what you do, of course, you set this one on like that. You put the pipe in. Put this down. And the best thing I found is doing it on the floor. Because that way you don't twist it or anything. You put it on the floor. I marked that this thing. I have it marked right at the center. That way I know where to put my marks at. So what I'll do, I'll put it on there. And I'll pump it. I'm not gonna bend this one because I already got all my bends. Kind of started the video late, but that way you'll see. So you'll put it, and then every inch, you'll start at that last one, your 1 inch, and then you'll pump it about 6 times. You let go, you move it an inch. Every inch, you do it about 6 times. So that's how I have it marked, and that's how I've always done it, in 6 inches. That'll be my first pump, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. These two are the ones you could really bend to get your final angle. And like I said, mine are set to about 53 degrees. That's the angle I'm doing. So that's what we're doing. And you can see they look really good. So these, I mean, these are long rock sliders. Usually I only use 2 of these. Like for the Jeep, I only use 2. But for this one, because they are a total length of 106 inches, because he has a 4-door. So I'm using 3 of these. And when I'm going to use them to support them to the body, which I'll show you guys later, I'm going to weld that 1/2-inch plate that I bought for the tailgate lift. That's what I'm going to be using. I'm going to weld it up to this, and then we're probably either going to bolt it or weld it to the frame, but I'll show you guys. But these are our notches. Look at those clean notches. They look super clean. And the way we notch, let me show you the way we notch. I'm going to notch one for you guys. Alright, so the way you want to notch the pipe, safety first, let's get our glasses on. You don't want to put this and be notching both sides. You want to go about half of this, about half. You don't want your pipe all the way in, because that's going to be a pain in the ass. I've done it, it's doable, but you'll run through these blades quick. So about half an inch in. That way you're only notching just the edge of it. Let me show you guys. I'm gonna notch this one. That way you guys could see how easy it is. And then what I'm going to do, that way I know where to cut it on the other side, I draw a straight line through both the tool and the pipe. That way I'll pretty much get it right, the same thing on the opposite side. But check that notch out. Look at that. Clean notch. Clean notch. So there you go. Now I'm just gonna measure the other side before I notch it. I'll bring you right back. Alright guys, so what I did on the other side, I just put it in the tube notcher. Just do a little mark. That's where the inside of this, like the other one is. My measurement is 4.5. 4.5 is my measurement from here to here. So what I'm doing, 4.5, and then I'm going that 1 inch. Now I'm gonna chop saw it before bringing it back in, because if I try to do it there, cut the whole piece, it's gonna take forever, and it's gonna be a beating on that saw. So that's what I'm gonna do. 1 inch from here, and go chop it in the chop saw. Let's go. There you go. Let's go hit it. Check it out. On this one, Perfect example. I left it a little too long. A little too long, right? I went an inch. It was a little too long. So what I'm gonna do, just cut it from here to here. So that's what happens when you leave it a little too long. All you do is just trim it and then watch. There you go. See, this would get stuck in there. So you just cut it off and continue notching. Easy, clean notch. Of course, we're still gonna clean it before we weld them. Check that out. Clean notches. See? Get that thing in Harbor Freight, man. I love that thing. I mean, I should be using a drill press, but I don't got one. So, there we go. There you go, guys. Clean notches, that's what you'll get. Just doing it that way. So what I'm gonna do next, I gotta notch 2 more of these, and then I'll bring you back when I start tacking them. Bring you right back. All right, guys, I got all 6 of them cut up. Now we're just gonna prep them to weld them. What I like to do when I prep to weld, of course, clean all the outside where the weld's gonna be. Still gotta work on this one, but I'll show you guys the end result. And then what I do, the grinder, you don't want to leave it sharp, because if you leave it sharp, when you hit the weld's just gonna melt through. So what you want to do is kind of leave a little bit of a flat spot on it. That way it's a little thick. That way it doesn't burn right through. See? Clean it right up. Clean it right up, and then hit it on the flat spot. That way you get rid of that sharp edge. That way it doesn't just melt through when you're welding it. So that's how. Gotta do 5 more. Let's try to do it. And remember, the key to a good weld is prep. You prep it no matter if you're welding flux, gas, MIG, stick, TIG. Good prep. Good. Want to clean your metals out as best as you can. That way they stick. That way you don't have no porosity, none of those little holes. But yeah, let me do all these and then I'll bring you back as soon as I get ready to weld. Alright guys, we're all fitted, prepped for weld. What I'm going to be doing, tack it. The reason you want to tack weld it, because example, if I were to hit this side and weld the whole thing, that side over there is going to open up. Remember, metal distorts with heat, so you want to put some good tacks and then hit it. So right now I got to tack the inside and outside. Same thing on that side, inside and outside. Same thing on these, inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside, on all of them. You want to tack everything. Once everything's tacked, then you hit the welds. Then you go the whole way. So let's go ahead and let me finish tacking this one up, and then we'll hit the welds and I'll show you the welds. I ain't no professional welder. tacks. All right, we're all tacked up. Let's see what you guys think. Look at that. Those are gonna be some strong rock sliders. They'll be able to pick up the truck. I mean, I've used the high lift jack, but I don't use the high lift jacks anymore. But I've used the high lift jack on mine, and like nothing. So we're gonna use this, and then for the support, I was thinking a couple of options. Going like this, and then welding a bracket. But what I'm gonna use, I got some 1/2-inch plate left over from, well, I got this and a whole bunch. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna bevel it with a little gap, and then we're gonna hit the weld. We're gonna weld this, and then I'll make the bracket. Either it's gonna be welded to the frame, or it's gonna be bolted. We'll see. I'd rather weld faster, easier, but some people, I mean, these ain't gonna go anywhere. So some people like to bolt them. I'm gonna weld them. On the Jeep, I do have them bolted. Reason I do on the Jeep, unibody. It ain't that thick, so I do have that one bolted with some thick bolts. But on a pickup truck that has a frame, I would personally weld them, but it's up to everybody. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use 3 supports whenever it comes to welding it. Jeep, I got 2, but that's plenty. These, they're 106 inches long, so I'm gonna be using 3. So this is what we'll be using. So I'm gonna finish up welding them. Now that they're all tacked, weld them up, then I'll bring you guys back out so you can see my weld. I mean, I'm not the best, but it'll work. Welding time. Well, I've already been welding, but just a little quick. Check out the welds. Take a look. Thick welds. I made them thick. Plenty of penetration. All of them. Check this one out. That's done. So let me continue welding, and I'll show you guys. Today we're probably gonna install them on the truck. I'll show you guys how we do it. And stay tuned. I'm also gonna make, next episode, we're gonna make a ladder for a buddy's expedition. So keep an eye up on that video. I'm gonna show you guys how I make a ladder. Never made one, but we're gonna make one. There you go, guys. That one, I went a little too fast, but still plenty of weld. There you guys go. Plenty of penetration. Not bad for government work like this, eh? Yeah. Look nice. So now let's figure out how we're gonna get them on the truck. All right, guys, so now we're gonna weld them onto the actual frame. Check it out. This is how it looks. We already completed one side. Let me show you the other side. All right, that's how they look. You wanted them like angled more down to be utilized like a side step. But you guys see, we used 3 support brackets, 1/2-inch brackets. We're gonna use round tubing, but flat, it's a 1/2-inch bracket, 1/2-inch plate. That thing is super strong. It's welded at all 3 points to the frame. So hey, good luck to whoever's gonna have to take them off, because they're all welded. So there we go. That's how it looks. Plenty of protection underneath. I mean, you can lift this thing with the high lift jack. I won't have a problem. But there you go. Let's finish the other one up and I'll show you once everything's completed. All right, both of them are all done, installed, painted. Look at that. He wanted them angled more like a on the side step type of angle, but man, these things will protect against rocks, anything that comes to it. And all we paid for was $80 worth of material. Look at that. All done. Stay tuned. We'll be posting some upgrades we did to the Jeep. Stay tuned.